This turf boot has bounce technology, and if you flip it upside down, it still has bounce technology. There's really nothing funny about this, I just thought it was kind of cool that if you flip the logo upside down, it still says bounce. Does not bounce. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Adidas Copa 19.1 turf shoe. Now, this is their top-of-the-line turf shoe in the new Copa 19 lineup, with, for some reason, them not making a laceless 19 plus variation available, at least not as of right now, but I don't necessarily see that changing in the future. It's also worth noting that for some reason, they've only made this particular model available as a turf shoe and not in an indoor variant, although that could change with future colorway releases. As I'm sure you've already noticed, these look a lot like the Copa 19.1 FG boots that normally retail for $210, but the price tag on this guy is only $130, and that might seem like a really good deal, but they have actually taken away some key elements from the Copa 19.1 boots, like the kangaroo leather upper, that kind of make the $130 price tag justified for this particular model. It also incorporates some elements from the Copa 19.2, which I'll point out for you in today's video, but as an overall value, this is actually a really solid option if you're looking for a modern leather boot with, of course, a turf outsole. So we're gonna go over all the details in today's video, including how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. And if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $130 retail price. If you guys do end up enjoying the video and want to see more turf and indoor reviews on the channel, please support this one with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time and don't want to miss out on future content, be sure to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. Included with the boots is a box, and inside that box you get absolutely nothing. Except the boots, of course. So let's start with the most important element of this boot, and that is the upper. It's part of the new Copa 19 lineup, and both the 19.1 and 19 plus FG boots feature some of the nicest kangaroo leather we've ever seen from the Adidas brand, certainly in the last 10 years. Unfortunately, for the $130 Copa 19.1 turf, the leather that you get is calfskin as opposed to kangaroo leather. So it's a lot more like the upper that you'll find on the Copa 19.2 rather than the Copa 19 plus or 19.1. With that said, it's still really, really nice and super soft. I am not complaining about the quality of this leather whatsoever. You're gonna notice that it does have this little bit of a debossed pattern in it with no stitching reinforcement whatsoever. All the reinforcement is in the liner, so it has that nice soft feel, very, very comfortable towards the forefoot area. Of course, there's not a huge amount of leather here. You can see the leather basically transitions right here on the lateral side of the forefoot, goes all the way across the forefoot and toe box area, and then cuts off at pretty well the same point here on the medial side. Everything from that point back is a mesh-based synthetic, which we'll get into in just a second. Overall, though, it's really good quality, and it offers that nice soft leather touch that you would expect from a boot of this style. The rest of the upper is kind of a variation of what you would find from the Copa 19.1, and that's the same base kind of mesh material, but it's technically not a fusion skin construction because you can very clearly see the transition between leather and synthetic. It's basically just a hard seam, as we've seen from pretty much every other Adidas boot to feature leather at the toe. This is not an uncommon thing for them to do. However, being that the material is so similar to that of the Copa 19.1, it somehow feels a little bit softer, a little bit thinner, and just more flexible in general, to the point where I actually argue that while the uppers are quite similar, this for some reason just feels a lot more comfortable and certainly not as rigid out of the box as what you'd find from the Copa 19.1, which was kind of my main complaint with that particular boot. And then of course, it does carry over the signature element from the 19.1, being the burrito style tongue. So what you'll notice is that the lateral side of the upper, this mesh-based synthetic, continues flowing as one single piece across the top of the foot and then tucks underneath the medial side of the upper, where of course that flows up from the bottom and then completely splits. So you can see kind of wrapping your foot like a burrito. And then you're also gonna notice that the one side of, or the end of the burrito style tongue, I should say, has this little kind of elasticated gusset to help hold that side down and prevent the tongue from sliding around. Moving to the rear, you'll find that these feature the same general construction in the heel area as the Copa 19.1. Some of that exposed mesh, a little bit of that extra padding here on either side of the ankle, which honestly is not that noticeable. They added this little pull tab at the back, which I quite like the look of, and for whatever reason, the silhouette of this shoe on this turf outsole reminds me a lot of the Adidas Adi Pure 1, which is a great comparison because I happen to think that that is a tremendously good looking boot. Has the Copa branding on the back. It still has an internal plastic heel counter, although not quite as solid as what you'll find on the FG boots. And then as far as the heel liner is concerned, it's a really nice synthetic suede, plenty of extra padding in there, and overall, just a really solid construction. I just realized why I like the look of these so much more than the regular Copa 19.1, and it's the black stripes. The regular Copa 19.1 has orange stripes. These have black stripes. The black stripes just look better. The insole is of course fully removable and pretty straightforward. It has the 19.1 and Tango logo branding right there at the heel. It's made out of this nice synthetic suede and a single layer of this black foam. So pretty much the typical comfort insole you'd find from most Adidas boots. So now it doesn't want to go back in. Are you serious right now? Moving to the midsole and outsole, Adidas has made a major change coming from the Copa 18.1 indoor and turf variations in that no longer does the midsole feature boost foam, it now features bounce foam. And I know that boost is not a foam and people are gonna call me out in the comments. I misspoke, sorry, take it easy, it's not that big of a deal. But for those that are wondering, bounce versus boost, they feel completely different. Boost has that very, dare I say, bouncy feel to it. It's very responsive and it really doesn't compare to any other cushioning setup out there. The bounce foam, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys, just feels like a pretty standard foam setup. Even in comparison to Nike's Lunar or even the other cushioning setups, the React foam that they have right now, it feels a lot like React if I had to compare it to anything specifically, but again, there's nothing about this cushioning setup that I would say is particularly unique in regards to how it feels. It works really well, it's comfortable, it provides a decent amount of underfoot cushioning, but there's certainly nothing revolutionary about it. Now, running through the midsole, you can see that there is that exposed bounce foam, the orange area right here on the lateral and medial side, mainly through the midfoot, but as you get to the forefoot and toe box, it does have this large rubber lip. Being that this is a turf shoe, you want that lip for the sake of durability, and it also has a bit of a lip going around the heel area, kind of like the Adidas Mundial Team, which is a great comparison to make that I will make a little bit later in this video. I like how they designed the midsole overall. The outsole is pretty much a standard turf layout though. There's really nothing too unique about it, and that's not surprising because most turf shoes really don't need to reinvent the wheel. It has these kind of rubber nubs, it's the best way to describe it, scattered throughout the entire base of your foot in the heel, forefoot, and toe box area. And a lot of people always ask me what's the most aggressive traction you can get from a pair of turf shoes, and the honest answer to that question, based on all the different turf shoes that I've tried, over 100, I can honestly say that they pretty much all feel very similar to each other. You're not gonna notice a huge difference in traction going from one to the next. It's a turf shoe, it works really good, the traction is decent on turf, and that's about all I can say about it. And because I know people do get confused about what exactly turf shoes are for, because what is the difference between turf and artificial grass, let me break that down for you really quickly. Artificial grass, kind of the higher end style of artificial playing surfaces, is going to be plastic blades of grass with rubber pellets scattered throughout. Now there are varying qualities of this type of surface. The deeper the artificial grass is, the better quality that it is. And if it is a really deep artificial grass surface, you ideally want something with an AG stud pattern rather than a turf shoe. However, you can get away with wearing a turf shoe on an artificial grass surface like that. You just won't get the same aggressive traction as you'd get from an AG stud pattern or even an FG stud pattern. Because a lot of people do wear FG studs on artificial grass, even though that's not necessarily the best thing. What a turf shoe is best suited for for is the artificial playing surface that is basically like a rough carpet material. It's very, very shallow. If you fall, it scrapes your knees up. It scrapes absolutely anything that it comes in contact with. It's very harsh, and it's kind of like the old school style of turf, if you want to call it that. That's more or less what turf shoes are designed for. Lots of places still have fields like this, so it just depends on what you need. Again, you can wear turf shoes on that surface and an artificial grass surface. It just depends on what you really are looking for. I'm not sure if I made that more clear or more confusing. And then finally, when it comes to weight, in a size 9.5 US, the turf version of the Copa 19.1 weighs in at about 10.7 ounces, which might not sound that light, but in comparison to other turf shoes of this particular type with a leather upper, that's actually not too bad. A lot of turf shoes, even the high-end ones, are gonna be right around the 10-ounce mark, so these are slightly above that, and obviously aren't gonna provide that super lightweight feel on feet, period, but turf shoes as a whole are always going to weigh a little bit more because you have a lot of rubber to the midsole and outsole for the sake of traction as well as durability, and rubber is not a particularly lightweight material, which is why turf shoes always end up weighing a little bit more. Again, if you're looking for that super lightweight barefoot feel, you're probably not interested in these anyways, but as long as you're on the market for something with a leather upper that's nice and comfortable, you won't find these heavy. So I've swapped out the stock kind of white champagne colored laces for some black reflective SR4U replacement laces that accent perfectly with the black stripes on the side and the Copa branding there on the back. It actually looks really cool, not to mention it has the reflective element. I always like the look of that, plus they're black so they're not going to get dirty really easily. It's a great way of changing up the style of your boots in an inexpensive way. So if you're interested in some replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the Copa 19.1 turf feels seriously comfortable. The leather is really, really soft, and while it has the burrito style tongue, which typically does end up feeling really stiff, especially the way they designed it on this particular boot, unlike the Copa 19.1 FG boots, because the material is slightly softer, it just feels really, really natural. You're still gonna find that it kind of bunches up across the top of the foot, and there are kind of some slight pinching points that you more or less have to break in and get used to when they are brand new. But for the most part, in terms of out-of-the-box comfort, this is one of the more comfortable indoor shoes that I've worn in a very, very long time. So really, really happy with the way that they fit and feel. As far as the underfoot cushioning is concerned with the bounce foam, again, it feels pretty standard. If you're expecting that kind of boost, unique sensation, you're not necessarily going to get it here, but that's not to say that it's bad whatsoever. And as far as width is concerned, because the material seems to be a little bit more forgiving and it is on a different base in comparison to the FG version of the Copa 19.1, these also seem to have a little bit more width to them. So as long as you don't have super wide feet, don't expect a lot of stretch through the midfoot, these will fit most people very, very comfortably. And then as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, these have kind of surprised me because I didn't expect too much out of them, especially when I saw that they weren't going to be kangaroo leather like the FG version of the Copa 19.1. However, the quality of the leather, while there isn't a lot of it, is still really, really good. While I still don't care for the burrito style tongue, because of the slight tweak in the material, it's soft enough and seems to wrap your foot nice enough to where the boots end up being really, really comfortable. I quite like the way that they fit and feel, and the overall midsole outsole combo is also really good. It also helps to me that I think that this is an absolutely gorgeous looking boot, and overall, at the moment, out of all the current top-end model turf shoes that are out there right now, this is actually my go-to. The one thing that I will say is if you are on the market for this style of turf shoe, you absolutely 100% need to consider the Adidas Mundial Team, which retails for $95 and features a full kangaroo leather upper. Granted, those are heavier, but you do get better quality leather and certainly more of it with that particular product. Plus they are cheaper. So there are some trade-offs to make depending on what you're looking for. But if you're looking for a more modern interpretation of something like a Mundial Team, you're gonna be really happy with the turf version of the Copa 19.1. Anyways, guys, that's it for another review. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $130 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.